I think it's the New European or something or other that's drawn a parallel with aliens and Brexit. So the honest choice in Alien is never to negotiate with the beast. You suit up, you grab the load, or you fire it out of the airlock. And in our politics, we've kept feeding the creature. For years it was unsayable that Brexit was hurting Britain. This month the mask has slipped. And three authoritative signals have landed almost at once. First, the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, said the impact of Brexit is severe and long-lasting, and briefed that the Office for Budget Responsibility will mark down growth because the hit is larger than they baked in. The OBR's standing estimate remains at 4%. The 4% the productivity loss versus versus what it would have been had we stayed in the EU. That's the fiscal backdrop to her 26th of November budget. Second, the bank, Andrew Bailey, usually Delphic on politics, finally answered the straight question: what is Brexit's effect on growth? For the foreseeable future, he said, it is negative. That's a central banker's way of shouting. Third, the public, YouGov, shows a durable majority now say Brexit was wrong, with only a sliver of slightly enthusiastic Farageites calling it a success. This is not a weekend wobble. It has held across multiple waves this year. So the cat or the chest buster is out. What now? Sir Ed Davey yesterday asked for the obvious pressure release valve, a UK-EU customs union. Sir Keir Starmer said no and reiterated the line about a closer relationship inside current red lines. That's a political calculation about reform curious voters and 2019 leavers. It's also a bet that upgrades to the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, rules of origin culmination, accumulation, veterinary SPS alignment, professional recognition, youth mobility and horizon-style frameworks can recoup enough GDP to matter without reopening the first-order sovereignty rows. There's a narrower technical route that's hiding in plain sight, the Pan-Euro-Mediterranean Rules of Origin Convention. Joining PEM would grease supply chains by widening cumulation for UK firms that assemble across Europe. It is not a full customs union, but it does move parts and components more smoothly. And the idea has been live in Westminster briefings this year. If you want a single sentence, a prudent reset that actually lifts measured trade and productivity needs three early moves: an SPS deal, PEM accession and deep services recognition, and then a medium-term negotiation on customs data sharing and mobility. Anything less is reputational maintenance, not macroeconomics. When Sadiq Khan blames part of London's house building stall on the post-Brexit environment, lost EU skills, costlier materials, stickier supply chains, critics cry deflection. But the macro picture aligns. UK trade intensity is weaker than peer G7 recoveries, goods trade still under 2019 levels, services doing the heavy lift. The drag is not a cliff, it is a slow puncture that flattens the tire over time. It's called Brexit. Now, to the week's other heat source, digital ID. Ministers have tied a new digital identity to a migration clampdown, making it mandatory for right-to-work checks by 2029, while insisting it is voluntary for almost everything else. It's a lie. The sales pitch then pivots to convenience, cut the faff of proving who you are, and to service reform. Public reaction has been immediate: large protests, millions of signatures on petitions, and cross-party unease about compulsion in all but name. Two facts matter for trust. First, the Prime Minister says there will be no tracking of purchases or movement and that hospitals will not require it. Only the right to work will be mandatory. Second, the information base is gov.uk One login, which has faced documented information assurance complaints, offshored development controversies, and a red team incident that highlighted weak device lockdowns, all denied or downplayed, but serious enough for official statements and specialist press to challenge. If you want citizens to adopt a digital root credential, your operational security must be boringly excellent. Ours has not been. I know. I tried to log in to gov.uk One yesterday. 3 hours of misery. I succeeded, but not without a lot of effort. And here is the connection with Brexit. The UK chose a high-friction trading model and a rhetoric of control. That loads more work onto the state's pipes, borders, in identity, compliance, just as institutional capacity and public patience are thinner. Rolling out a national digital credential while the public sees state ID security stories on the front page is a category error. Do the plumbing first. Fix the errors, then start asking us to join up and follow your direction. A constructive way through. There are 5 practical steps. Publish the air-gapped plan before legislating on digital ID. Publish a National Cybersecurity Centre audited architecture for identity that is federated with hard device policies for administrators, third-party past pen test reports and a breach disclosure protocol. No glossy promises, just engineering. We've had it all before with the COVID rubbish. Go hard on an SPS deal and PEM. SPS alignment alone would lift agri-food exports and slash border friction. PEM would help manufacturers today. Signal both before the budget to frame the OBR downgrade with credible offsets. Services, services, services. The economy is services heavy. Expand mutual recognition for auditors, lawyers, audio, visual and data adequacy side letters, then push a mobility chapter for a short-term business travel and youth exchange programme. Tell the truth about the 4%. The 4% is not a forecast of recession. It is a level effect versus the world in which we stayed. Lay it out. Show what parts are recoverable through friction reduction and stop pretending marginal tweaks equal full repair. They don't. And rebuild consent. If the right to work is only mandatory use of digital ID, legislate explicit red lines, no function creep about without primary legislation, an independent oversight board with judicial powers and a sunset clause unless Parliament renews. Then prove value with opt-in wins, driving licence, DBS, student finance and so on. Ripley in the Alien film doesn't bargain with the alien. She names the threat, she does the hard work, she opens the airlock, she thrusts the monster out. Britain is finally naming the threat, a self-imposed friction tax that shows up in a slower trade growth and a thinner fiscal margin. The responsible course is not a culture war rerun or a shrug. It is a focused reset with measurable gains, SPS, PEM, services recognition and a digital identity built on demonstrable security, not practical political vibes. If you want, if you want a country in which things work, then you need to reverse Brexit. Recognition without remedy is performance. Performance is how the alien wins, and and performance is actually how Ripley wins. It's performance, not words. Words don't achieve anything. Words are all I do, and it's whistling in the wind, quite frankly. And Brexit has been proven to be wrong. And much of the country, the majority of the country, now recognises that.